Well, I finally got to that shooting range called the gun hub. Unfortunately, you can't put anything in front of the firing line, which means I couldn't use the chronograph. I bought the one with the IR LEDs and all this, bells and whistles and everything. So now I got the target box finally finished filling with junk mail I showed you in an earlier video. And I got 4 pieces of that hard pink foam insulation board stuff. Again, 1 inch thick, and I've got them taped together in panels of 2 that fit down in that box. So there's tightly packed envelopes and whatnot. Those big lacquered cards they send to advertise stuff, all stacked up tight in there and pressed down with 4 inches of that hard pink foam insulation. And I got a piece of the old hutch here I want to cut and tape on the back. Hopefully that'll stop maybe the Crosman Pellets if I'm lucky. I mean the Crosman 160, and even that one's 550 to 600 FPS, and with the H&M Barracuda green domed at 12.65 grain. What they show on there is that thing's going to go through a lot of stuff before it slows down and stops. So I don't know. Can't shoot in Sheffield, like I can't use it at the range to I need the chrono numbers for the Ohio Division of Natural Resources report I got to give Saturday, March 4th, and in or whatever. I'm not sure how that goes. But I also got curious about conversations that always come up, whether it's on one of the forums like GTA or Airgun Nation or the Facebook Airgun pages. Sooner or later, everybody asks, when somebody shows their brand new latest toy, how much does it weigh? How much does it weigh with a scope? How much does it weigh with a red dot? Well, I guesstimate pretty close on some of them. So, got an Ozeri microband here. You turn it on, it gives you like pounds, ounces, grams, and fractions of a gram, and all that kind of stuff. So I thought we'd weigh popular combinations here, and that I've got anyhow, and we'll just see what they actually weigh. Get them down out of there first. Really leaned into that one. It's somewhat down heavy. It's supposed to be like 7.2 pounds, but I don't know. Oh, come on. Okay. Ounces and fractions of an ounce. Okay, well, whatever. Alright. I don't think it'll make a lot of difference, but I'll take these funny looking cheapy caps off. Now this, of course, is the Model 160 Crosman. It takes the 2 CO2 cartridges, and it doesn't have any CO2 in it now, so you won't be, you won't have the weight of liquid carbon dioxide and all that, the metal cartridge or whatever, and it won't have any of that. So it was about 4.5 to 5 pounds before I added the scope, the mounts, and refinished it, and all that, and re-bluing and everything. Oh, and I don't think got the gas valve oriented properly. Dummy me was only supposed to have one of the 2 holes in the exhaust end of the valve where the stem sticks out threaded, which is supposed to face down. The one that looked like it was stripped as a gas port that goes in the end of that little tip on the bolt here. It's got a hole that goes up like this, and it's empty, the part that faces forward. That's where the gas comes through this cylinder here into the gas control valve, through the exhaust port, up into the little port in the bottom of the bolt tip. The part that's in front, that's forward of that little O-ring seal. They head upside down, think in other words. But anyway, I don't know if you can see that right there. Here's the ring seal, and on the bottom of this part here is the bolt to the gas port, which is up about here in the end of the breech. So this thing also is neck down to push when you push the bolt forward and down into the little slot, it'll push the pellet into the same place every time. Like a pellet seating tool you get with them pellet pins. Well, that's what the end of that bolt is machined to do. So these guys machining that down thinking more gas is going to flow around it. No. Gas goes through the inside of that little tip on the bolt, not the outside. Okay, so we got 6.5 pounds refinished, re-sealed, whatever. I got the crosshair nice and straight this time. 6.5 pounds of it don't feel bad, and you know, you guys know today that's a little on the light side. Well, there's Hatsans and Benjamins and I think Diana's. Don't quote me. I think some of Diana's too can get down to like 6.5, 6.8-ish, maybe 7.2, 7.5 with a scope. So, next up, I've got about 32, 35 rounds through this one. I'll show you a target in a minute at the gun hub here in Sheffield Village. Real nice bunch of guys there, middle-aged to older fellers like me. And no gamma rockets, no jacketed bullets, steel clad, or no armor piercing stuff. In other words, which up to including no armor piercing pellets. Oh, and holding it, that artillery hold worked better up here, resting on the bench with this plastic bench that's only about that wide and more pistol oriented. It's not a rifle bench where it'd be like a meter deep, and it's nice, solid, smooth, nothing like that. So I'm holding it like this and resting on the bench. You'd be surprised how much that little tiny waver I had in there that you almost can't see is at 22, 25 yards plus. The range only goes to 25. That back wall's at an angle and filled with that chunky hard rubber mulch stuff some of you guys talk about. So this thing's got some heft to it, so let's see what this one weighs. It's like 6.8 pounds weight, and that scope can't be a couple of pounds. That just seems take your weight off of it. .66. Okay. Oh. Do this all over again. Damn thing is so heavy. Just about can't handle it. Oh man. Okay. Laid across this way, I think I can get more accurate weight. 8 pounds, 6.95. Okay. Didn't think I laid everything sideways. Lay it on the forestock and just let it balance itself. And again, this Crosman is without CO2, so you have to weigh to that. 6 pounds, 4.4 ounces. That says 4.35. Jumping between 4.35 and 4.4 ounces. So I'll just call it a 4.4. Okay. That sounds a little better. This thing's not that heavy. It's very pleasant weight. So anyway, you can't turn the damn thing off. Okay, anyway. So the Winchester is a little heavy at 10 pound, 6.69 ounces. Striker's right behind that at 8 pounds, 6.95 ounce. And the Crosman 160 there is 6 pound, 4.4 ounce. So that Winchester, they're even synthetic with the stick-on camouflage or paint or whatever it is. Weighs every bit as much as a BAR with bipod. Since they both got a bipod, that's probably add about a pound, I guess. Shorten the barrel 3 inches and take that bipod off there, you might get a pound off of it, pound and a half. Anyway, I got, I just can't pick that up, dude, we had time. The Staples economy storage box. I took a couple pieces of this, and I got one down in there and another one up on top like this. So with the target on the front, or the bottom of the box, I'll just stood up on end. This will be covering the area where the target is in the center. So you'll be shooting through probably about 15 inches of junk mail compressed down to less than a foot, with 4 inches of pink foam on the top of that, and a piece of that finished particle board from the old hutch. I got a rectangular chunk of that I'm going to put on the back and stand it up against maybe a couple of old 2x12 ramps I have sitting back there in the garage. so I can use the Caldwell chronograph I got over there to get some actual muzzle velocities on these guns. The Crosman's listed at 500, some say 550 to 650 or 600 feet per second. The Striker 1000X Hatsan there, they're saying 800. And they test with lead pellets, so it's not like I don't believe it. I seen a guy, might have been Kenny Cormier on YouTube. I forget the weight of the pellet he used, but he was getting like a 883, 884, something like that on the Striker. The Winchester with an 8.5 grain pellet. Well, the 5.2 grain pellet he averaged 1,410 feet per second muzzle velocity with an 8.5. I'm expecting around 1,200. Well, we'll see. My biggest problem is just getting off, say, 6 shots with each gun. That's 18 shots I have to squeeze off to record the chronograph numbers and put that into chair gun, and then print out the trajectory report pages with all the numbers and stuff, so that old state of Ohio can see that these things aren't toys anymore, but also they'll be able to see the numbers at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 feet as chair gun lists them out. They can see how fast that muzzle velocity and trajectory drops off. You got plenty of killing power with air rifles, but the the muzzle velocity and thus trajectory drop off a lot faster with air rifles, as we know. We have to make them understand that now. So the more you guys in your own states, or even the state of Ohio here, help us out, we'll all be able to hunt turkeys and stuff like that with these things. And wild pigs, like, I wouldn't use that Crosman on a wild pig, okay? And that's 583 to 618-ish without modifications on the muzzle velocity. But this thing here, you're pushing 900 feet per second with the right pellet in that thing. And at 20-25 yards, as Keith Warren showed with the Gamma, Gamma Whisper or something or another, using the rockets I've got laying there in the range bag. He shot a 20-pound and about a 35-40 pound young hog, feral hogs, in the head. Now with feral hogs, it's a lot like a fox or a coon or chuck or something like that. They got this sort of blade in their skull sticking up where the way their skull is actually formed. So you've got to get above the eye on one side or the other to get to the thin part of the skull, right where it starts to curve up into that sort of little blade-like thing that they have, crease they have in their skull. I've seen it before. It's a little weird, but God figured it out. He knows better than me. Anyway, so that's the weights. On the actual weights on these rifles with the scope. On the Crosman there was the Optima, Hatsan / Optima. They're all 3 to 9 by 32 millimeter, except the other ones are just plain old duplex reticle, non-adjustable 3 to 9 by 32 scopes. This Hammers has the adjustable objective, even though it's still, 3 to 9 by 32, and that's real nice. It's also a Mildot, standard Mildot reticle. That's darn handy. If you can, well, it turns out they weigh a little more than I thought they would. Anyway, a week ago yesterday, I went to the new range for the first time. I had one of these, I had to buy one of these big paper targets here to stick my shoot and see target on, which, yes, I know is on edge. It's supposed to go like that, and I didn't for whatever reason. Anyway, that's about 30 shots in the space of an hour or so. from the Hatsan Striker 1000X22 with the, it's a 2022 yards. I had the hammers 3 to 9 by 32 scope on 9 power. I could have actually used 12 or 15 power. At that range, you're not, the picture on the scopes is still isn't that big. So anyhow, the shots start from lower left to upper right as I was adjusting the scope, which I was adjusting backwards. This way you got a lot of this in here. Oops. Generally in groups of 3, couple of them, like this one, the shot, this like 5 or 6 shots here, about is the size of a dime. Easily fits in a dime. I tagged on the line several times, stuff like that. I got one shot here, this 3-shot group with one shot's almost on top of another. Tagged on the dots in a couple places. That was sort of funny. So, we're a man on the low side of 61. And a bench that's only about that wide, just black plastic, injection molded plastic. More pistol oriented, not for rifles at all really. I'll have to figure something out, at least use the front bag to steady myself. Get a lower chair than the bar stool they gave me, which my back and my hips were already killing me. You had to walk like 200 feet to the front door and then all the way to one end of the building to watch the orientation videos and all the way back to the other end to sign up to go on the range and all of that. And it had my arms shaking. I tried different breathing and all kind of stuff to steady myself, and while adjusting the scope of that freehand, that's about the best I can do. So I need to find a way to use the front bench rest bag on a lower chair that's more comfortable for my shot pellet. So that's what it is. You look at it in 3-shot groups and it don't look so bad then. Say for somewhere like 5 or 6 shots. That was my best one right there. But that's pretty good right here. You got one darn near on top of another. With a air powered 22. Some 22 yards, that's not bad. Sort of like what Murtaugh said to Riggs. Not bad for an old man. Yeah, so I gotta find a way to set up here with the target box, the backstop and all of that. So I can set up the chronograph and get a few shots out of each one. Let's hope for 6 shots from each rifle as fast as I can squeeze them off before somebody gets wise and can put everything away and you go into plausible denial. What the hell, they do it. And show kind of chronograph numbers I get, actual numbers from actual pellets and all that. We'll go through all that next time, but hopefully tomorrow. So, Lord willing, the creeks don't rise. We'll see you again.